Right, another day, another bit of wood butchery. So the distance between the two beams is 44 centimetres. So I know that there to there ought to be just 44. No, that's wrong. If I chop it at 45, it'd be too short. This is why I got plenty. So it wants to be 44 as centre outwards. So I need to find the centre of this piece of wood. God, that's actually dry. 66. 66 is 33. Right, that's the centre. $44 in total. Half that's 22. So it's 40. 1, 2, and 2. One, 2, and 2. Right, so that's the outside. That's the outside of my beams. So that's the centre to centre between there to there. Now what I need to work out is half that depth. It should be 2 inches. Yep, 4 inch. So they want to be no longer than 2 inches long than tabs. So that lot can be cut off. And then my dowel, let's make it go 1.5 inches in, 1.5 in. That gives a half, 1, 2.5, 3 inch tab in the middle. Yeah, 1.5 inches, looks plenty in. Then I want to go straight across there with that. Which I think is 1.5 inches is that tab. And that one is that one there. So that one's chopping off there, that one's chopping off there. I'll do the same again at this side. Bring it a bit closer. So 1.5 inches is there, 1.5 is there. That is that line. Inch and a half there is that line. That one's shaving off there, like that. That should give me a 2 inch wide, 2 inch deep, and a 4 inch deep tab or tongue. No, tenon, mortise and tenon to sit in there. So I'll chop this one first as my practice test piece, and then I'll offer it up to there, and I'll make sure I mark which one's which for when I put it together, so I don't forget which way around it goes. So one way I always set my saw depth is actually do it on the job. So you see it's down here because this is set to maximum depth because of what I've been cutting before. So what I usually do is find the bottom of the joint and then set it right against where I want to be. So the bottom of the tooth is against the bottom of the cut, and then that way I know when I go that way across the joint, I want to turn the saw that way and go across, it'd be at exact depth. and bit of safety first. I always do it with no battery in, then that way, you know, if you catch this, you're never going to lop a finger off. So that should be the depth set. And you come across here, you look on there, it's also the same depth as well. So that's now ready for cutting. Right, safety first. Goggles, earmuffs. Just going to get a clamp. Right, so that's the width between there, which marries it perfectly with the cuts. Now I've got to cut that way. So what I'm planning with this one, I'll go straight through there and then turn it over, same again, straight through, and then that's then cut. I'll cut them well as something to lean on, because the saw's quite difficult to use when if I was just cutting out a little bit there. So I've changed the depth to flat out. And I know that'll cut more than halfway, so you should cut them bits off nearly, and then I'll go straight across the end because I've got material then to lean on. So that's how I'll do them. Right, what's clear apparent is that there's something out on that end. It's exactly the same on that end, so I don't know what it is. Whatever. My saw is not set dead to 90. I don't know. Anyway, we can cope with that. It's only a few mil. Right. Probably gonna have to do this in freehand as well. I know what, I'll do it from that end. So the next one to lop right across the end. It now. So all I've got to do now is cut down this one and this one with a handsaw, and they should drop out. Well, anyone that knows me, I probably know I'm not much of a wood butcher, but tell you what, I'm half pleased with that. It'll be alright. Square them corners up just with a chisel. Do it now. make sure I'm missing out. Oops. That one. This one looks alright. A bit off there. Not to really write on about. This one just looks a smidge off the top. Look at that. Bloody hell. Good for that. So that's the first one done. So now the next awkward bit is making some holes in here and over here somewhere. There, I think. I don't know, I can't really remember. Oh no. Here. One here. One here. We're obviously in that side, so might thrash the other one of these up while I'm on, copy it, and then yeah, then see about knocking some holes up, just see if it does fit. So should drop in there just nice. So you see that comes halfway to the end, so it still retains the strength there, but that one is excuse me. It's to sit in there. That's the plan with that one. So that goes in there. You probably can't see that. There we go. That goes in there like that. But it's notched in. And the other one will go up there. And then where them two holes are, that dirty mark at the end, that's where the casting goes. So that should give it a nice bit of strength. And then what I'll do is a bar to go across the middle. I'll probably put it halfway between that and that clod, so it'll help pull them two together and keep the two bearers like pulled tight. That's an original rod as well, so probably won't need it this end with having the engine, because that bolt and that bolt are fixed to the axle at that end, so that'll stop any sideways moving that way. Plus the engine's on top of there, and at that end it's fixed with that casting in between, so I'll put it in between just to hold them tight. So that's the plan. So you can watch me thrash the next one up. Right, so that's the easy bit. So that's that one done. That one as well. So that wants to sit in there where it says brace. Just trying to do it one-handed. Just like that. That wants to sit in there. And that one says brace as well. So that's them two done. So the cast one will go in that end. Now the difficult bit of doing the old way it goes. Just want to say thanks to my mate in Australia, Shane, who sent me this. So it's nice Lister. Yeah, it says Lister pattern. But yeah, a bit on the back and on there. So apparently these were old dealer stock ones, and they couldn't use them because they used the wrong logo on the front or something. So he was going for now, and he got a couple given. He kept one and he sent me one all the way from Oz. So yeah, cheers Shane. I'll wear it when the weather's a bit better, and I'll keep it for now because wrong with this and I don't want to get it mucky. Right, so now that's the easy bit done. It's the bloody hard bit. So everything's marked. I'll just move these out of the way. So what I'm going to do, with a pencil, which side's more aesthetically pleasing? Probably that side. Right, so I'm going to put an arrow towards the front. Helps me get pencil, it's not broken off. Arrow towards the front. Like that. Just going to put one arrow. I'm going to mark it. So this is also bottom. Because this is the bottom of the trolley. So this is number 2, so I'm going to put 2 arrows on here. I'm going to put B for bottom even though I've drawn on it. 1, 2, pointing that way, and B for bottom. Right, that's them both marked. Stick that one back in there. I'll do. I'll flip these like that. Right, where's my square? Dust. Right, so I marked the braces going here. So that's going across there like that. And it's also going across there like that. Do exactly the same on this one. Can't see for bloody sawdust. That one's going across there. And across there as well. Helps you look at right bit. Same on this one. So brace was there and there. So line across there. Line across there. On there. On there. Yep. Right, so that's where that's sitting. So what I'm going to do now is match that in there like that, both sides. Now then, I could try and square it up like that. Draw around it. Option 1. Probably quite work. Would work quite well actually. Let's get a little mark actually. See where it's at. See if it's something like. I could measure it all. But I might have made a little balls up when I cut them because they're not all perfect. Because that's going to go like that. Because that's bottom. I'll go like that. That's bottom. So yeah, if I get that, and go straight over there like that. Just like that. Put that in there. Trusting my woodman's made these square. Just cheating with this. Is it technically cheating? I don't know. You tell me. I'm not a wood butcher. So that should be, if I get this, go on here like this, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, it all lines up. I don't know why I just don't do that. 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. Now, Sod it. I can't use that straw straight line. I can. I'll do this because this one's made a little bit wonky. Because they aren't that good. Don't like wood, it's difficult to stick together when you make a Horlicks. That one's not perfectly square either. Neither's that one. Looks better than new. There's my holes. Go with that. Yeah, that's that one. Same foot to the one. Right, so this is a frigging noisy, messy job. So, just check it from this angle as well. Make sure it's landed the same. Yeah. Same. So, time for a bit deeper now. I don't actually know how deep that is. I don't know how the tape measure is. But I'm pretty sure 40 mil. I've got 45 to do. This doesn't go deep enough. But I'll worry about that when I get a bit nearer. So I'll crack on. See how much you get done. Right, that's as deep as I can go with the router, which it appears is about 35 mil. And I need 2-inch or 50 mil. And I've got 35, which is about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to square it up, tidy it up, so at least I can drop it in. I can have a look. And I don't want to drill in a bit more and then chisel it out, or to see about buying a longer router bit. I'll have to have a look and decide what's what. But that's where I'm at the moment. Is it ain't deep enough. Right, so it's all the way in as I can reach. You can see I can still put my fingers under it, so I have a dilemma: either lop a bit off the bottom or find a deeper tool. But for now, I'm going to crack on and route the other 4 holes because I'm running out of daylight again, and I'm running out of days. So I'll crack on while I'm out, and I'll come back when I'm done. Right, another night. It's run dark again, but I've got all 4 holes done. So as I said, that I cut these at 2-inch. My router will only do 1.5 inches. So I think what I'm going to do, I'll have a quick look tonight when I go in for longer router bits. I think going to be the easiest option, and obviously the most cost-effective option, because I'm not made of money, is to look at chopping them. So cut these tenons down to 1.5 inches rather than 2 inches. I think will probably be the best option. So just a sneak peek for you. There we go. It's all together. Now we are looking at the bottom. So that one's stuck down ever so slightly, but gives you an idea of how bloody big the trolley is. Oh, I'm hoping it's working because it's pretty dark out here. There we go. So there it is. That is the Lister TM trolley. So the only thing I've got to do is attempt just to nip these down. If I can't find a deeper router option, that's what I'm thinking. Keep it tidy. So otherwise it would mean a lot of drilling in the bottom of there to try and just gain another half an inch. But I'll have a think on it tonight. And then this end, that's where the casted bit will go. Then I'll trip over that wire. I'll get it bolted together. So I'll continue this on tomorrow when it's daylight again. Quick interruption. Thank you for watching this far, and thank you to all those who have already subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe below. It would help the channel grow massively. Now back to the video. Right, firstly I must apologise. So I had my microphone on for this whole day because it was really windy, and I didn't check if it was bloody working. So all day I filmed and none of it's got any sound, so you'll have to listen to me doing a voiceover. So what I decided to do was to drill the pockets. So I got my drill bit, put a bit of tape around, and you see I drill it to the right depth, and that one there is one that I finished. So just showing you, it does fit right down. I decided to do this instead of getting another router bit, as it's what I had available, and I thought there's only about 1.5 inches to notch out, and I also put a little chamfer on the top just to help them in the pockets, and also I have got a few mugs printed, so if anyone would like a mug, let me know and I'll see what we can do. So this is just me shoving both halves together. So it went really well. They're nice and snug at the pockets. They're snug enough that there's no gaps, but loose enough that I can easily get it together somewhat without too much of a chew on. So they're pulled just about tight up, and I said there's only 2 braces at one end, and then this end there's it's all held together with this cast steering unit. So this is one half of it, and the other half then fastens to the axle. You'll see it's curved, and that allows it to pivot in multiple directions. So with it being larch is quite acidic on steel, so I've just put a smearing of grease on the bolts just to help protect them, but also it helps them slide in the hole a bit easier. Cause earlier on I did say the drill bit I use is just a little bit tight, that was all, so a splash of grease just helps them go in a bit easier. So even though they've had a smearing of grease, they still do need a little bit of persuasion with a hammer just to get them through. They're just a little bit on the tight side most of the way through, but I'd rather them be like that than loose in the oil and rattling and clunking about. Exactly the same the other side, apart from I put both these in together because now it's all lined up, and they're in the hassle of having to juggle a greasy bolt and get the metal work lined up and not touch the bloody nice clean wood with a greasy hand or out like that. So yeah, it's exactly the same the other side. Knock them in, and then slip the nut on, and they're ready to tighten up. Right, for the rest of it now I need to flip the trolley the other way up, as I need to be working on the top side to get the bolts in. So I flipped it over, and I've had to put rubber gloves on because I had a bit of an accident with a chisel. I had it in my pocket and I didn't bloody realise, and stuffed my hand in the pocket and sliced the top of my 2 fingers. So I'm just using the gloves to stop getting blood on everything. So what I'm doing here, so this is now the top side, and the bolts have to be recessed into the main beams. So they have to be recessed in, as 1, they're not long enough, but 2, because there's parts of the trolley that's mounted on top flush, they have to be reset in. So the easiest way to do it is to get a nut, draw around it, and then chisel around the nut down to a depth where it's going to be somewhat like right. And if it's a little bit proud, when you tighten it, it does pull it in a little bit. So they're not essential that they have to be absolutely bob on flush, but they want to be somewhat like, as you don't want to be putting too much pressure on the nuts and bolts for pulling them in. So I just mark on the outside, and then it's a case of just gouging out the wood down inside. This chisel's not particularly sharp. I should have had a better go at sharpening it. Then you have to just make sure they're lined up with the holes before you knock them flush home. That's a nice easy job. And then it's just an exact same job with doing all 4 for the other end of the trolley, as there's 6 that need notching in flush. So there's the 4 for this rigid axle, and there's the 2 for the stabilizer bar for the steering end that need to be notched in. So yeah, just doing these 4. Then that's a test run with the bolts. So you see, turn them upside down, greased them up, and then it's just a case of knocking them in, making sure they're flush. So I got that done. This part now is the brace that goes between the 2 parts. So this helps hold the wooden part of the trolley together rather than the steel part. So here's a great big rod that goes through. So this is an original feature. Right, I'm out a bit earlier today, so time to have the wheels and axles on. So a quick tidy up, and then I'll make a start. Right, you'll be glad to hear on this next lump of videos, this is the next day. So my microphone was actually working properly this day, thankfully. So yeah, this is a good day where I actually finally get the trolley finished off. So I hope you enjoy. If you haven't, please give me a subscribe, please give me a like, it'll help the channel massively. And thanks for watching this far. Right, now it's all tidied up. Let's have a go at removing the trestles. Let's go. Let's kick that bugger up. So that's that end on, just loosely, and I'll drop this end and fasten this end on now. Right, just noticed that this actually goes on the underside, so this is not quite the same, I hope, but it goes underneath there, not where it is. So I'll take that out. Put it out the way. And I will put the steering part on. Shift that. Put some grease on here. And that's where it all pivots on. goes through there. And that bar and goes under there. What I'll do, because that's over there, you see there ain't a lot of room here. I'll drag all this up on the decking, then roll that up, and I'll slot it on. I'll also put the other wheel on so that it's sat a lot more level. I just slip a bit of oil on the shaft to help the wheel on, and then scudge it up to get the steering axle on. And you'll notice I do a little bit of a dance with the axle once I get it onto the decking, because I realise I've bloody got it the wrong way around. So I just dance it round the right way. Right, so here it is. It's done. Well, I say done, apart from the dreaded wheel, but still, it's all bolted up. It's all tight. I've had to use some modern bolts for it, 'cause that's all I've got. But to be honest, I don't mind, because these have a tendency to work loose. So with having nylox on, I guarantee they won't come loose. That one does need a bit chopping off. I don't have a split pin big enough, so I just put a bit of copper wire through there just to stop it undoing. There's the pivot. So yeah, that's the trolley for the 1921 Lister M TM done. So the next job is to fettle that wheel, get that freed off. It'll be a bit easier now. Now the axle's all secure, and once that's freed off, I'll band it up, and then it is ready to literally drop the engine on there. Say hello to Blue. Blue, say hello. Yeah, that's the next job. Get that bloody wheel off. Well, are you ready? It goes round. Still bloody stiff. So the way I did it, some horrible green here. I used some hydrochloric acid, in other words brick acid, because that was at that angle about there. Squeeze a bit in, wait till it fizz with a syringe, and then suck it out with a smaller syringe, put some fresh in, suck it out, spit in. Then I just warm the hub ever so slightly, and I got a 50mm socket, sacrilege socket, put it over there, knocked it in, and then I had to be a little bit rough. I started knocking it on there, and it just started to move a mil or two, so I had to be a bit more rough and knock it on there, and then it started to move, and I managed to get a bar under this fork, and just slowly then backwards and forwards, and it started to move 1/4 inch. But yeah, goes around quite nice. So the end's got a bit burred up. I'm so knackered. I'll file that up, and then gear it slid off. Then I'll tighten the shaft up, and I'll have this bit put back in, and it banded up, and it dropped back on. So yeah, I'm chuffed to get that going, but bloody hell, it was a bit of a fight. Right, now I've got my breath back, wheels off, so I'll have a bit of a square up in the garage, make room for it, and I'll have it in to have it banded. So, and I'll show you how we'll go about that. Right, here the wheel is, and I have just skipped a bit, and I've put the band on. So I've done it because I'm running massive out of daylight again and days. So what I did, I welded a piece of angle iron on here and on here, got a sash clamp and pulled the two together because it joined was here, then pulled it. But then the bloke who made the ring for me, or the tyre, or the band, or whatever you call it, it was about the width of my finger, too bloody short. So I had a strip of metal, cut the band, dropped that in, then welded it up twice. You just make out there's one there and one there. It's only about, say, a width of my finger. And then I've just used some nickel rods and just glued in basically the section. I haven't welded it on the outside, just on the inside, just so that holds it in place. I have a few others that are repaired just like this, where they've been banded and then welded with nickel rods. So it's made it damn sight bloody heavier. But yeah, it'd be a lot more secure now. So I'll have that one slip back on, and then the trolley's ready for wheeling about. Right, and here it is, totally finished. Everything's bolted up. Wheels all banded. Yeah, I've run a bead of weld in there as well, just to make sure it didn't drop out. It's all mortised and tenon it up. They're nice and flush. And now it's all ready for disassembly again, or part disassembly, and carrying around the front of the house for the engine dropping on. So today was literally the windiest day ever. Wherever I put the camera, it kept blowing over. So I had to move it not to the best position to get a decent shot. And you'll see me sat on the wheel having a rest. I'm absolutely knackered from carrying it round. You don't realise how heavy these axles and wheels are. The axles are like 5 feet long. So I will hear me huffing and puffing when I get the next video finished. That's knackered. Right, that's it on the drive. So I'll shift the other car and see about getting it out. See if we can get it chucked on. Right, it's all lined up. It's all lined up for the off. It's dropped in front. Excuse the wind noise, it is literally the windiest day ever. Next bit will be getting a telehandler, lifting it up, scrunching it on, dropping it on here. So I've just got to wait for just after dinner. And when he's back, I can go and scoop it up. So I just nipped up the road and borrowed this telehandler off a customer. Luckily he's kind enough just to let me borrow it for half an hour here and there when I need it. So yeah, I've borrowed the wife to help get it lifted on, and yeah, just got to get the pallet tines nipped up to the right width, and then I have them poked underneath and lifted up onto the trolley. You'll notice that I do a lot of the running in and out, all the running in and out of the handler on my own. So it's something I've always done. Just the fact that if you're doing it on your own, no one else is in the way. There's no fingers to get caught, or hands, or feet, or arms, or out like that. And plus, then you can it makes it so it doesn't rush. So it makes you check everything. Yeah, it does take a little bit longer, but I've often found it's the best way when you're doing these sort of things, is just to get out, quick look. So I'm just checking the pallet tines to see if they come all the way through, and I need to be about another 5 or 6 inches out to make sure I'm all the way through. There you go, you can see them poking out. So I don't want them too far through, because I had a feeling that it would be a bit of an headache to get off the pallet tines onto the trolley, just with having that centre bracing. So yeah, it's an advantage for the trolley and the strength of it, but it was a right headache for getting it on. And it's always a bit of a sketchy time just lifting them as they are. You don't want them to move too fast. Metal on metal's never ideal, but it's one of them. Just getting out for another check and make sure that the tines are all touching the base before I go for it. So nice and steady away. So I lift it just nicely high enough so that I know I'm clear of the wood. I hate lifting them too high. Absolutely petrifies me. And it's great using hydraulic power because it's nice and smooth. You can boom out right to where you want it. So I was sort of guesstimating when I was aiming for where it was on the trolley, so I could have gone a lot further, and I thought by the time I drag it off them tines it'd be about in the right place for where it ought to be, but as it turns out it was bloody miles short. I was about a foot short of where it should be, so the bar that goes through the middle of the wood there on the side, I ought to have had the pallet tines just before that. It turns out that's actually where the engine needs to be by the time I finished, and I didn't realise at this point actually how close it was to the end of the trolley, and I was just more panicking that I don't like them sat on pallet tines for too long. So I thought, alright, if I get it onto the trolley at least it's on and it's something like safe. So then what happens, I get back in the forklift and for some reason the bloody boom in and out stopped working. So I was thinking, well, it's probably gonna drop when I pull the tines out as well. So I'm probably gonna have to reverse back to pull the tines out. So I was just thinking, I'll put these little skims of wood under. At least it's then taken up half the distance. So it's got to like clunk onto the bearers. Then as it goes to pull it out, the tines actually bloody jam underneath the engine, between the engine and the bearer on the trolley. So I realised if I lift it up, tip the forks off a little bit so I just get a little bit more height. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to go up much further because I don't want it to topple over backwards. I can try and peel it away from the wood. And then, let's say the bloody joystick won't let me boom inside to just drive backwards, and the trolley kept bloody moving towards the handle, which didn't help. It's all a bit of an headache, and I was just starting to panic a little bit. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what I did. I'm crowding it forward there. I think, yeah, just lift it up a little bit, which just must take enough pressure off the tie, and there it goes. That it's letting it slip out. And it turns out that piece of wood that I put down to stop it falling too far onto the trolley turned out to be a right pain in the arse. As when I come to take it off, it was then jammed, unlike the other one, just skidded out. It was right pain in the ass to get out, and it didn't help at all. So there it is. It wasn't particularly smoothest lift I've ever done onto a trolley, but it was sort of best for a bit of a bad situation. So I just jump out and have a quick look before I take the machine back. Right, here it is. It's all fastened on. I think that's where it should be. So I've had to pull it inside because the weather's gone all, I'm going to put it very British, and it started raining. So yeah, got it on, shut the exhaust on to make sure it was in the right place, and I was happy. So what I've done, I've mounted it perfectly between the two fixings. which has just allowed it to skim down that side of that bolt. So I didn't get any more film of it. Fastening it on, I'll stick it in the garage because it started to rain, and as you can see, I'm nearly at the door on the way out. That's how bloody big it is. So if I hit my bench one there, I'll be able to get the axle square, but because the bench is there, I can't get the axle square, so it has to stop as it is. So next job, well, I might try and give it a run on here since it's now secure, but be cooling tank on here, then the cooling pump will go somewhere up there, and there's the exhauster sort, you see that pops out under there, so that's going to come across up one side of that wood or the other. That's on that way just so I can get some water in it if I wanted to give it a run. So that actually goes the other way around, so that'll come down and that'll give me an indication to where the pump wants to go. It should be about there. Looking at that is just that side of that bearer, so the pump will probably go there, and then I'll make the pipework fit. It's my temporary petrol tank. So as you can see, it's on. I'm bloody tight a room now. So that's it for this episode. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.